What is up, guys? My name is MipZ and welcome back for yet another League of Legends video. Today we are playing probably the role that's been the longest since I've posted on my channel, so I thought it's time for another support champion guide. Today we're playing a champion that I guess some people, or at least the people who like sushi, probably likes this one. Or at least I do. This one is an absolutely amazing one. I love playing with her, having her as my support, but she's also really fun to play myself. I actually really enjoy her. Today we are of course playing NAMI. So NAMI is honestly an absolutely ridiculously strong support if you know how to play her. She's one of those champs that personally I really do enjoy having on my team, and the reason for this is basically that you never really have these super bad matchups, because you always have the fallback of playing defensive and having the healing that NAMI provides, but she can also play aggressively. Anyhow, the agenda for this video is, first of all, we'll talk a little bit about who this champion is for. Then we'll go into kind of the all of the detail of each and every single spell, so that you guys know exactly how they work. And that's going to lead kind of into the combos of how you want to combine them and why that is. Because if you don't know exactly what these spells do, a lot of people actually don't know the ins and outs of it, and I'll teach you guys that in this video. And that's definitely going to help us out. And then lastly, after the combos, we'll talk about how to play her in the different phases of the game. All right, so let's start talking about the very first thing being just want to go trade that one, being who this champion is for. And quite honestly, this is a champ that I think anybody who is a support main should have in their roster. The reason for this is that she's super good both on low rating but also on high elo. She has so much utility, and she has a lot of CC, and she's just an all-around really well made champion. So honestly, don't underestimate her. I think for beginners she's also super good, because she makes it easy for you to get into the game, learning the objectives of the game, because you can always heal up, so you're not going to get punished as much as with a lot of other champions. This might be really bad. We do have a nice. And I have my bubble right here. Yeah, I was afraid I was going to get the kill there. All right. But yeah, just a champion that I believe just about anybody can learn a lot from and really have fun with. So let's move into the abilities and how they work and what they actually do. So first of all, we have our passive, and our passive is called Searching Tides. Searching Tides is kind of subtle, but it's really important, and it actually kind of decides specifically how you want to play or how you want to use your ult, which is, it's very important. So honestly, don't it's actually really bad. Don't underestimate this spell, because it is really good. What this Searching Tides, the passive here, does is that whenever NAMI hits an ally with a spell or an ability for that matter, then that ally is gonna get some extra movement speed. This movement speed scales. We need to get some of these stacks off, by the way. I'm sorry that as I've said before in my videos, the purpose here is not to show perfect gameplay. It is kind of to showcase the champion and have fun at the same time. Anyway, every time you hit an ally with a spell, then that ally gets some movement speed scaling with your ability power. The thing is that this is actually doubled if they're hit by your ult. We'll talk more about that as we get to the ult, but just keep in mind, passive gives movement speed to allies whenever you cast whenever you cast a spell on them. All right, I just need to get out of this. Okay, guess we're backing out here. Yeah, should be fine. I think this is a decent back. We're gonna be able to finish our chalice, which is gonna be nice. All right, so that's all our passive does. Gives a movement speed to allies whenever he casts a spell. We can see it right here. He gets empowered. He gets this this icon buff underneath him up here, and basically that just means he moves faster. That's it. That's all it does. Our next spell is called Aqua Prison, and Aqua Prison is pretty cool. It's NAMI's Q, and what this thing does is basically that it allows NAMI to throw out this bubble that whenever it hits an area or whenever it reaches its ending location, then it takes all the enemies and lifts them up in the air, having them stunned for 1.5 seconds. This also deals a good chunk of damage, so stay very aware of that, so you don't try or so you don't last hit people unintentionally with it, because you can pretty easily do that. We almost did it before. So stay aware of that. The thing with this bubble is that the travel time is fairly slow, so it can be kind of hard to hit it, but we'll talk more about how to actually ensure hitting this this more, what do you say, safely or more commonly. All right. But that's basically all your Q does. It's this bubble that we just threw. I'll see if I can... Oh, this is really bad, actually. You can just see she gets lift up 1.5 seconds. And that's basically all that thing does. Deals a good chunk of damage. Alright, let's see if we can heal this guy up, because he is becoming fairly low. And we need to get some of these stacks off. Alright, so let's talk about the next ability. And our next ability is our W. It's called Ebb and Flow. And Ebb and Flow is a really, really big part of NAMI. This is her healing spell, but also a damage spell, which is kind of cool that it's both one and the other. The way this one works is basically that NAMI can throw the Ebb and Flow either on herself or on an enemy target directly. If she throws it, or also on an ally target. So you can throw it on yourself, you can throw it on your ally, or you can throw it on an enemy. The thing is that this Ebb and Flow jumps basically bounces up to 3 times, but it bounces between enemy, ally, enemy, or ally, enemy, ally. Meaning that ideally, if you wanna, if let's say that I want to heal both NAMI, or both myself and Varys, then basically I want us both to be in range of an enemy, and then I want to throw my heal onto Varys, and then have that heal bounce off him, jump to Senna, and then jump back over to me. And that way, we're both gonna get healed and we're gonna deal damage to their Senna, which is pretty cool. I really need to get some of these stacks off. I'm sorry that we're not really... I'm going to back out of that. So that's basically how that one works. It does a lot of damage, so be very aware of that one. And you want to use this ideally for poking quite often, especially to use your to use for your what's called Spell Thief's Edge. This is the way that you most easily proc it. You just run close, use it on yourself, and you bounce it to them. A nice little tip for those of you who don't already know, and you can hold in left alt on your keyboard and click your W, and it'll automatically hit yourself without you having to target it. So you can see just like that, it just instantly targets that. I think maybe... Nah, that was terrible. Alright, let's just heal back up here. And I think we should be going for a back sometime soon. I don't know where that Soraka went, so... Oh, no. Rip. But we just got executed, so it doesn't really matter. I think for this, we will just rush our boots just for the fun of it. And there we go, because that is actually not that bad. Okay, So that's basically our W. It's all it does. It does this bounce. It deals a good chunk of damage and it heals. And you want to use it on, depending on your purpose. If you want to do max damage, then you cast it on an enemy first. You target the enemy and cast it on that one. Then it's going to bounce on that enemy back to you and then back to another enemy if they're in range. Remember that this bounce cannot bounce twice on the same target. It can only hit one target one time. It's pretty important to know. But that's all that thing does. It's super cool and it's just, yeah, it's really, really nice. All right, so we're going to put... I might be in a lot of trouble here. I have my bounce back in just a moment. Bubble. 10 seconds on our ult. We will be able to heal, but I think this guy's gonna back, so I'm not gonna heal him. Casho is coming down. Don't think we're gonna get much from that either. I will be moving up here, but I think this is... she's 100% dead. Also, I kind of failed. Whew. Rip. Okay. Let's get this one and just start. And be a fail, dude. All right. But that's basically our W. Our next spell is our E. It's called Tidecaller's Blessing. And Tidecaller's Blessing is actually one of the things that you want to use to ensure that you hit your Q more often. Oops, we just need to get ourselves this scrying orb. And we need to start getting some control of this vision. The thing is, for me right now, is I'm having a slightly hard time kind of processing both things, both talking and doing well at the same time. I don't know why playing support just always feels a little bit different for me because I'm so used to farming and everything. So for some reason, it requires more brain power for me to do this than actually farming. I don't know why. It's just weird because I have to focus on not farming. All right. Anyhow, let's just get some vision out. Check for... Oh, they have a ward here. All right, so our next spell, or E, is our Tidecaller's Blessing. And what this basically does is that it allows you to put this this buff or spell or whatever you want to call it onto yourself or your teammate. And what this does is that it empowers the next 3 basic attacks from the target that this is on. So if we cast it on our Varus, then we can empower his basic attacks, his next couple of basic attacks by actually quite a significant amount. So right there, we're gonna slow her. Okay, oh, that was a good one. All right, so she is gonna back off and we will be able to just push this. But it is gonna empower either your own or your teammates' attacks with a little bit of magic damage. So it's actually quite significant. You can see he gets these small bubbles around him, and this just is an indicator of how many basic attacks he has left that are empowered. Each of these basic attacks, as I said, deal extra damage, but they also slow the target for a short moment. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's just 1 second slow, which is fairly, like, it's fairly good. It's really useful. And one of the things you guys have been seeing me use it for so far is basically that I pop this thing on myself, then I use a basic attack onto a target, and then I use my Q to bounce them up into the air. The reason for this is that this slow is actually enough for you to almost certainly hit your bubble, even though it has kind of a travel time. So this is something that you gotta stay aware of. Oh. Oh, don't stand on top of me. Thank you. Alright, let's just heal him back up. We do have control of this one now, I think. I have ult in 4 seconds, so we should be okay. The thing is that they have smite, we don't. This is not a good idea. Ouch. All right, rip. I deserved that one. All right, let's get ourselves an Ardent Censer. Also, I think we're actually going to get one less just to get some control wards with us. There we go. All right. So that's basically all your E does. It deals a good chunk of damage. It slows the target you can cast on yourself or a teammate. This is super useful. Use it to ensure that you hit your spells. That's honestly what it's so freaking good at. And remember that every time you do cast a spell on yourself, or basically on allies, then they do gain movement speed. So this is pretty useful, because getting this buff of movement speed basically means that it's going to be a lot easier for your teammates to reach things. So also use it for basically for that. Like, the movement speed is quite significant. This brings us to our last spell, and our very last spell is called a Tidal Wave. And Tidal Wave is, of course, NAMI's ult. It's her bread and butter. It's basically the thing that makes you kind of feel like the female version of Aquaman. And you just basically just summon this big tidal wave, as the name kind of indicates, that travels really far. If you could look at the distance, we can basically throw it from the middle of the lane and all the way down to the turret. What this thing does is, first of all, it deals a good chunk of damage, but it also knocks people up and basically stuns them for a moment, which is really good. You can hit a full team on them or with it. That's what we did up here at the Drake just a moment ago. All right, let's push this. Oh. Okay, this might have been a little over risky. Make sure we buff this guy up, giving him that little bit of movement speed. This guy chases. Oh, rip. Give him that. I have my stun back in 1 second and a little bit on heal. I'm gonna have to heal myself here. Oh, this is gonna... No, it's not giving me a dodge. Rip. Okay, I totally overplayed my hand there. 100%. 100% my bad. All right. But the Tidal Wave, as I said, is pretty cool because it travels super far. It travels faster and faster as, yeah, basically as it travels. It travels faster over time. So stay aware of that. It stuns people and it also slows them for a duration afterwards, between 2 and 4 seconds. The slow effect is determined by how far it traveled. The further this tidal wave traveled, the longer time the target or everybody hit by it is going to be slowed. So also be aware of that one. But here's the thing that really is cool about the tidal wave is that it works together with your passive. This is what we talked about at the very beginning, that tidal wave, or your what's it called, searching tides. Whenever some spell hits a teammate or an ally, then they get movement speed. The thing is that your tidal wave, it works with your tidal wave, but it not only works with it, it doubles it. This means that if you cast this on a target, this guy's so gonna get away. Oh, he's right there. Yeah, it's that one. And he's gonna survive. Rip. Rip. But it actually doubles it. This means that ideally when you use your tidal wave, then you do want to use it behind your teammates. The reason for this is, of course, that you're going to give your teammates a lot of movement speed for a moment, which is super useful. So really be aware of this. Also, we need to put wards. It's so hard to do everything at the same time. I'm sorry, guys, that this is not like prime gameplay or anything, but that's not really the purpose of it either, to be honest. All right, so let's group back up with this dude. But that's basically all of your spells. They're super cool. They're fairly simple, but they work very well together. So ideally in the laning phase, you want to be using your ebb and flow, your W, to poke such that you get the gold from your gold item. This is super crucial. Whoop. Somebody should have shoved this lane, by the way. All right, I'm just gonna go help these guys because I honestly don't feel like doing this by myself. But I don't think they're actually gonna contest this Drake. Wow, that Shaco is just so freaking fed. Okay. So basically, how do you want to play NAMI in the early, mid, and late game? Well, if you are a completely new player, then of course, I would basically advise you to try and play it a little defensively. What I mean with this is basically that you try and stay somewhat behind your ADC and just try to keep them up and use your E on them. As you slowly feel comfortable with the champion, then in the early game, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you go in there, you do the Alt W like this, poke your enemies, and deal the damage. Such that you get your gold item and start actually putting pressure on them. As you get more and more experienced and using the Alt W, then Alt E yourself, such that your empowered basic attacks, such that they're slow, and then Q them is super useful, just like this. So this is kind of what you want to strive for as you become better and better at NAMI, is actually learning to play her somewhat aggressively, because she is a super good, like she's not just a defensive champion. She is actually pretty decent also as an aggressive champion, and she works very well, especially together with champs like Athene. Varus is not bad either. Like she basically works with more or less anything. That's so cool. Like, she's just such a good all-around champion, just a good comfort pick to have. So really use that. Again, if you're playing with an ADC where you feel fairly comfortable, then also always, generally speaking, you want to be casting in fights. You want to be casting your Tidecaller's Blessing E onto your ADC. This is of course optimize his damage, but also you can use whatever target he slows with his basic attacks to throw your Q on. But this of course requires a little bit of teamwork. So you kind of need to stay aware of what are your ADC going for, and when you pop your E onto your ADC, then look for basically like when his basic attack hits, because you have 1 second to determine basically, here comes his basic attack, throw your Q before the slow is over, such that you hit it. Because ideally you want to throw it basically as his basic attack is going off. So that's kind of it. And yeah, really do remember that you can hold in your left alt key to basically self-cast things like this, which is super cool. It's very neat. And because you get this movement speed from your W, then you can always go in for trades, basically go close, Alt W yourself. The healing is like this, gonna bounce off on the enemy, and then you're gonna get movement speed due to your passive, which means that you're both gonna get healed up, but you're also gonna be able to run out of it safely because you're gonna have more movement speed. So this is something that you do want to stay aware of. All right. In the mid game, it's pretty much the same story with NAMI. You really do. All right. It seems like this guy's just going all nuts. I'm gonna try and do what I can to help this guy, but I am probably gonna be screwed here. Not gonna have any outs. That was far too deep, especially considering this Shaco. Because this Shaco is just he's tearing us apart. But in the mid game, it's very much the same story. You want to play team fights. You want to stay close to your team at all times. You can't really do much by yourself. The whole what do you say, idea behind NAMI is to support your team, and especially to support your ADC. That's what she's so strong at. And she's also like, she works well together with basically anything, and you can also support the rest of your team, of course, with healing them. Don't be shy to heal other people being low. A big part of playing a healer, for those of you who've played a healer in World of Warcraft or in any other MMORPG, kind of knows this, but for others it might seem weird. But it really, a lot of it comes also down to looking at, like, trying to predict who's going to take a lot of damage and being ready for it, and prioritizing the right targets. Like, maybe Varus is 5% HP, but if he's far back and nobody's able to get to him, and instead you have this Sin who's basically full HP, but suddenly 3 people are attacking him, then you might actually just be better off healing the Sin than you would be on anything else. I actually miscasted my Tidal Caller there, by the way, because we should have thrown it on... What? Yeah, that's the mirror. That's the mirror. I'm not going to be able to get that guy down. Oh, I wanted to ignite him. Flash ignite. All right, got to get out of this if we can. It's going to be a good bounce. All right, let's get out of this. Fairly low, but that was a decent engage. Our team is going... Oh, wait. Can we hit this? Okay, this is a terrible spot to be in. I'm literally backing here. Got nerves of steel. All right. So let's go ahead and go for that one. I think for next item, we'll go for redemption, but we don't have any gold because we're poor as... Well, that happens. But yeah, for anyone who's played those kind of games, you kind of know what I'm talking about with prioritizing healing. It really comes down to what's most important and predicting the damage that's coming. Of course, you always want to try and keep your teammates topped off. That is the ideal thing. Also, like, don't be shy to heal your teammates up whenever and wherever. It is super useful. Another thing is that as you get your Ardent Censer, this item, then going for basically using your E also as a healing measure, because of the shield it gives, is also super useful. So if they're going all in on one of your teammates and your heal is basically on cooldown, then use your E to give them that little bit of shield as well. But again, it really comes down to experience and figuring out what is the best target. But yeah, I think that's basically early, mid, late game are very much the same story. Early game, you want to learn how to play more aggressive, set up kills for your ADC. That is your job, or at least try and figure out how to set up some good stuns. When you want to stun people with your Q, then always go for the E to slow, and ideally throw the E on your teammate and use his attack as the slow. All right. This guy's screwed. He's gonna try and keep them off him. I don't know why this guy went back in. Okay, let's run all the way around here. Somehow Cassiopeia actually survived, which is nice. I like it. And a good trick is, if you want to go all in on something and you have your ult ready, then using your ult first to knock them up and then afterwards chain it with your Q is ideal, because it ensures that you are going to hit that your stun, your bubble, because it's a lot easier. Like, it's a lot easier to hit the tidal wave than it is to hit your Q. So always only use your Q more or less if either you're trying to close a corridor like we did here before, like trying to say, okay guys, if you want to go for us in here, then you gotta basically eat my bubble. And otherwise use it to chain it together with something else. So either chain it together using your E such that you slow them, or put the slow on your teammate, or the ability on your teammate so he slows them, and then pop your Q on that target, or ult and then pop your Q on that target. Like basically always try and chain these things together. I don't think I've put any wards in this game. This is I am right now the definition of the worst support in the world. All right, so right here we're gonna be able to slow this guy. Okay, I'm probably dead actually. Okay, I did not actually account for that. My bad. All right, so Ovarius, however, is doing pretty fine. I wouldn't say it's all my credit because I haven't actually done that well this game. But it doesn't really matter because I feel like overall we've gone through kind of a lot of cool things with this champion. But really, it really comes down when you're playing support, your primary purpose and the only like the sole reason why you are in the game. And I know this is probably gonna piss some people off, but your sole purpose in the game as a support is to help out your team, and more specifically it's to help out your ADC. So your job, the reason why you're in the game, is basically to ensure that your ADC gets as much gold as possible so that guy can carry it. Of course, it's not always gonna be possible for you to basically make this guy 0-3 or 8-3 and or 20-0. That's of course not. You are gonna have bad ADCs from time to time, but your job is to at least make his job easier. Because the thing is that ADCs are without a doubt the weakest role in the entire game in the early game. Like they're so weak, and that's the reason why they have a support. They have like this dude that basically is like, let me babysit you and help you to actually be useful in this game. And that's all. All right, I'm gonna have to ult here. All right, go get it. Go get it, Varus. And that's also very important for you to keep an eye out that you're not kill stealing anything. Like, just make sure that if he's safe, there's no reason for you to go all nuts and be like, I need to damage as much as I can. Get the target fairly low. If you can see that your ADC is gonna have him 100%, stop attacking, just let him have it. Ensure that you are gonna... All right, this is gonna give him a little bit of movement speed. Again, we are gonna, if we can get close, then we will be casting our W on this target or on our ADC to give him movement speed, or our E whenever possible. All right, I have my ult in 10 seconds. We're gonna heal ourselves up a little bit while we have a little bit of downtime here. I'm not gonna be able to hit this. I kind of knew. And I have my ult ready. Gonna off this guy up. He should be able to just completely annihilate it now. Nice. All right. Good job. Like right now, Ovarius is really popping off, and also or Trendemir got a couple of kills. But just kind of see the dynamic of what I'm trying to do. This is not a showcase of like a pro NAMI or me being the best player in the world or anything. This is just me being very simply telling you basically what is the idea behind, first of all, the role as a support, but also how to actually play NAMI. What is your purpose? Your purpose is to empower your team. And believe it or not, empowering your team can actually carry a lot more games than people give it credit for. Like, supports are to a certain extent the hit and carry, because you won't, like, I can feel it when I play ADC or when I play other roles. If you have a good support that knows how to set up kills, that's often much more worth than having a guy that does a little bit more damage than the guy next to him. Because setting up the kills and basically being in positions where you empower your team, or just like, that's so much more important. This guy's kind of deep. Shaco's coming down there. I'm gonna try and see if I can help him, but there is a good chance that he's he's gonna get caught. All right, we're out. But yeah, as I said, in the team game, you do want to play the back line. Your purpose in the late game is basically just as otherwise is to use your abilities to peel for your ADC and peel for your team. That's, you want to maximize the number of people that you set out with your spells. And crucially, you want to protect this guy, your ADC, and your mid laner. That is your two primary targets that you want to protect. All right, so let's just kind of stick in here, kind of waiting for something to happen. I'm gonna stay a little behind here. My ult is in a really bad position here. Gonna heal up, put my E on this guy. Gonna make sure that we get back in if we can. I have to heal myself here because I'm super low. We are gonna give this guy a little bit of movement speed to get out of there. And I'm just gonna keep healing myself up here. Now I feel like my primary purpose is now for Varus. So I have the same HP as him, and getting him up is more important than getting me up. All right, I might be able to this guy's tangle a lot of the turret. And I think right here we are going to be able to push the inhib most likely. This is so nice. Oh, ooh. Okay. Yeah, I should have expected this. 1300 damage Veigar ult. Ouch. GG. That Varus is doing a really good job. He's 11-3 now. Like, I've not been doing amazing in this game at all. But I have tried to, like, even though I'm talking, I've tried to the best of my ability to multitask a little bit and make sure that I do everything I can to help this guy out, to put my things on him when I feel like it's the best timing for it. That's also something to take away from it. Like, if you kind of, with experience, you'll get kind of an idea of not just casting your spells when they're off cooldown, then kind of thinking about, okay, if I cast my E on Varus now, how will that help him? Well, it kind of depends. If he's trying to run away, it'll give him movement speed to go away. If he's trying to chase after somebody, then it'll give him movement speed to go after. If he's charging his Q, it won't really do anything because it only empowers basic attacks, and the movement speed is not going to help him since he's slowed by his Q anyway. And it might actually just throw him off that he moves slightly faster having that movement speed on his Q, which he's not used to. So in that case, it might just be better for you to hold on to your E or your W just for a second, let him throw his Q, and then give him that movement speed that is going to allow him to chase down the target or to run after them or run away or whatever he needs to do. Your job is to enable him. That's all you need to do with this champion. And it's honestly, it's a really fun thing to do. Right here, we can put that on him. Just gonna make sure that if this Veigar is super scary and it is gonna be able to actually, you should max your E after your Q. I don't know why I just did this. Poor choice, I guess. All right, so they have no vision here. I feel like we should be able to push this to victory now. It's gonna stay close to Varus here. Make sure that he's all good. And Casio is just pushing in mid, which is honestly pretty good for now. They're gonna have to go in. Oh, whoop. This is not the right one. He had the right one before. All right, so we just got Baron. We have Infernal Drake and Infernal Souls. Like, at this point, it's going to be really hard for them to come back into the game. That's actually super painful, that ability power, Shaco. All right. I have my ult in 15 seconds. I actually got that kill. I won't be able to get that guy off. Gonna empower this guy. Put redemption down. Stay in that. Gonna bounce him up. I'm gonna try and run. Whoop. There we go. Sweet. Good job, man. Various being an absolute beast. This guy also did really good, which is nice. That makes my job a lot easier. Of course, having a good support makes everything easier. All right. Yeah, it's actually going to be a victory. That's super sweet. Varus is jumping into the shrine, letting himself still survive there. Yeah, cool. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I kind of hope that you learned a thing or two about NAMI in this game, and maybe even about support and the overall idea of why you have them and how to actually try and prioritize things. And I hope that you learned a thing or two about NAMI, how to combine it, what the spells do. Honestly, I think she's a super fun champion, and in my opinion, you feel very, very strong when playing her if done right, and you can really empower your teammate so much. So yeah, I hope this kind of emphasized that, and I hope you guys saw that it is actually a really fun champion. Yeah, that you learned a little bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this one, then make sure to smash that like button, and if you guys haven't already, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel down below. It really would mean the world to me. This is now the third video since I started full-time YouTube. So all of you guys' support in terms of subscriptions really does mean a lot to me. It just shows me that you guys want to see more of this stuff. And if you guys are sitting there and being like, when does he cover this champion or that champion or another champion or whatever, then go ahead, tell me in the comment section, be like, yo dude, please make a video on X champion, and yeah, I would really like to see that. Just go ahead, write that in the comment section if there's something you want to see. And even if you have other ideas for videos you would like me to do, then feel free to join in on our Discord. We have a video request section in there where you can just post your ideas, and I'll actually pick and choose. I'm gonna come out with a lot more cool content that are very different from these how-to guides, while we still continue these, of course, but I'm gonna start introducing a lot more content. So yeah, go ahead and do that. But that is actually gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, stay awesome, have fun, and take it easy.